Good morning, guys. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great week. I honestly haven't. So just to keep things transparent, I've been really struggling. That's okay. When I'm feeling moments where I'm feeling really negative, I really try to choose to focus on the positives. So I thought today we could just run through my kind of day in my life, typical routine, but highlight some of the great things that bodybuilding has been teaching me, things that I've been learning, and that things that I've been really appreciating in this journey. Choosing to highlight those things will help not only make me view things in a little bit of a different perspective when I'm not feeling my best right now, but then also to offer just overall lessons that I think are applicable to anything. First things first, the more that you can get done in your mornings, the more that you get done, period. Doing my vacuums in the mornings is something that I really need in order to get them done, because if I put it off to the rest of my evening, I usually will not talk myself out of it, but the effort that I give to them when I'm, number one, not fasted, I feel like they're easier to do when I'm fasted. It's easier to put things off, and I've been somebody who's kind of front-loaded their day, even prior to prep, really taking the time to get my cardio done in the morning, to get my vacuum done in the morning. It makes a huge difference in how I feel at the end of the day, because I don't have to worry about like, okay, did I get everything done today? Usually by like 1 p.m., all that I have to do that day really is my training, and that's something that I already do for lifestyle really anyways, so it doesn't feel like any of the things that we're highlighting, things that we're doing in this prep feel any different, and they don't feel as heavy the more that I get done in my mornings. So we have 9 more sets to do. I'm doing my vacuums now, where I'm pulling that kind of internal corset in to hopefully help with my bracing with core practice, and it can help with creating the illusion of a smaller waist as well. And the last one. As much as I did not want to do that, it's over. Brings me a lot of peace knowing I'm checking boxes early on. At the end of the day, they're boxes that are not that hard or bad. It just is time consuming. Particularly something you don't really want to do. Getting that done early on in your day gives you so much positive momentum and makes you feel like you can do hard things even when you don't feel like you have a lot of energy. I tend to think that whatever happens in the mornings, you just forget. And sometimes it'll be like 5 p.m. and I'm like, did I really do everything? Yeah, I did. And that comes down to front loading my day. This next one is purely from my boyfriend Nick, something he told me, and that is, things are just moments. They're just moments. This time right now, I'm feeling pretty gassed. I'm about halfway through. It's just a moment. This hard moment is what it is, and then it passes. And maybe the next one is really hard, but then it passes. When you break things up into moments, they feel a lot less powerful because they're coming at you in such small chunks. You can just take it moment by moment. Literally, like before every set, it's just a moment. And then it's over. You execute, and then it's over. And you can always do anything for just that one moment, always. And you know what? Yeah, I'm tired. My legs feel like they're 8,000 pounds right now. Pretty sore from yesterday's training. But to zoom out for a second, what is so bad about this? I'm in a safe place. I'm okay. Who's to say I can't enjoy this? It might not be my like physiological preference right now, but you can think about how much you don't want to be doing something or how much you'd rather be doing something else while you do it. And honestly, that's a lot of my cardio sessions. It's just trying to get the time to pass, trying to think about something else, but you keep showing up and you can do it every single time. It's over. Those moments that you seriously think you will not be able to get through something are serving you this purpose, this bigger purpose of being proud of yourself. I cannot tell you how many times, pretty much every time I go on the stairs, I have this feeling of, I don't know if I can do this, and I do it every single time. It's not even that I am concerned about my cardio in regard of like, oh, I'm gonna stop doing it. I know myself well enough, and I know my discipline well enough to know that I am fully going to commit and get my 40 minutes done. It's just the like, I genuinely am like, this is gonna suck. And that's okay, and things are allowed to suck, but those moments, as often or as spaced out as they are, where you're like, damn, how am I gonna do this? It's really through those where I'm able to emphasize why I'm really proud of myself, because I had no idea how I was going to push through this morning, and I still did it. And I wouldn't have that feeling of proudness if I didn't have also the feeling, it's kind of like a inverse law or like a coupling effect of such a suck and such a this shit is terrible gives you so much more to be proud of. Not that everything has to be hard, but in the moments that it is, it's also just giving you more evidence that you can overcome hard things and you can always do it. The hard way of doing things is usually the right way of doing things, because trying to find hacks or any little thing to make it easier for yourself usually just means spending more time correcting mistakes versus just doing the hard, correct thing. What are your hacks for this or for this? And at the end of the day, prep is not something that you're hacking. If you're doing things like having cucumbers or sneaking lettuce or whatever. And this is for prep, okay, please keep that in mind. That's not a hack, that's cheating. That's going off plan, right? So it really does take sticking to the course and just doing the hard right thing. And as much as it can suck sometimes, that is the nature of the sport. And to embrace that, to lean into that hard, to embrace the suck, and to understand that the hard way is usually the right way. And you're gonna get to your result faster when you're able to persevere through those challenges versus trying to cause unnecessary resistance about the process. I would rather save my time correcting mistakes and just do something now than to try to find any other way of doing things and then just be prolonging a process that is already a little bit uncomfortable. So, and that can go for anything in life when it's saying, okay, if you're somebody who wants to bulk, but you do it one day and then you change your mind, and then you do it one day and then you change your mind, you are prolonging your period of I don't know. Versus if you can really commit to it, as hard as that is, it's usually the right thing to do because you're going to get to your end results much faster when you actually commit to that goal versus teetering back and forth and then just having a whole period of time where you're not progressing towards that one end goal. You know what I mean? This could be a whole other tab, but kimchi, by the way, is so good. It is so good. As much as we might have this inclination to find the easy way out, I think it's easier to accept the fact that life is just fucking insane. And sometimes you gotta go through insane measures to get where you need to be versus causing unnecessary resistance about how can I make this just like an easier thing for myself? What if you can't? For an example like this, what if the hard thing is the right answer? And the sooner that I really just accept that and take that for what it is, I'm able to navigate that a lot easier than trying to figure out how to make it a sunshine moment for myself. My perspective is a tool that I can utilize to reframe as much as I can, and I use that as an asset in helping me through this journey of trying to view things positively. That's this whole other bullet point that we'll get to, but the physical nature of what you are actually doing, the decisions that you're making, it is gonna be uncomfortable and hard. And that's okay. It's allowed to be hard because things do not owe you ease. No two challenges are exactly the same. You are always a different person experiencing them. Even though protocol has stayed the same, that doesn't mean that one hard day executing it is gonna feel like that hard day every single time. That's not to say that they won't come up, because that's totally normal, but I'm always going to be equipping myself with more positive evidence or just a different mindset into that day. So an example would be the past, I think it was Sunday, really, really rough. And I looked back, actually, spoiler alert, hormonal, spoiler alert, just women. This time exactly last month was when I posted that video about my frog pumps. I really think that I'm just in my luteal phase this time of the month, and I'm not trying to like make excuses for that stuff, but it does play a role into how you feel and experience things. And I was just feeling really overwhelmed, and even that hard day versus this morning's hard day on the stairs felt different. Were they still negatively associated experiences? Sure, but I got through both of them. Whenever I find myself getting in the mindset of like, oh my gosh, there's no way that I'm gonna be able to experience this kind of low for however many weeks I have left in this prep, I tell myself, well, I'm not going to, because no two experiences are the same ever. Even if you're doing the same thing, even if I'm doing the same amount of cardio, I'm still gonna feel different because there's always factors that are influencing that and playing a role into how you feel, how you slept the night before, right? I don't give power to them, but they can have an influence on how you feel. And so it's comforting to remind myself that there's no way, it's literally impossible for me to experience the same exact thing. So whenever it is feeling really challenging, it's okay, because this challenge is unique in and of itself. Every single day that we are alive, we have learned something else. Even if it's like a silent learning of just learning, oh, okay, when I go to bed at this time, I feel really good the next day, or I loved when that person and I hung out and did this. You're always collecting data in your brain, and so that data carries with you while you go and do something hard, while you go and live your life. To know that every experience in and of itself is so unique and has so much, I guess unique is the only word that I can think about, but it's kind of encouraging, because then you're able to look at a hard situation and say, you know what, I'm gonna learn something different from this. There is no such thing as the same hard all the time. You evolve with challenge. It brings me a lot of peace and a lot of comfort on those harder days. Because we live in our own brains, it's easy to assume that everything is centered around you. You know, your problems are things that other people are aware of all the time and that they are taking into account when experiencing you, or like even little life things. It's easy to take them personally. If prep is a choice, it is a challenge of my choosing, and it's not fair to bring external things into that and assume that other people care about it like I care about it, if that makes sense. So it's still important for me to be the most attentive and supportive coach that I can be, to be pouring into my relationships the way that I prioritize my relationships. And life does not stop just because you're doing something hard or going through something on your own terms. It doesn't need to be other people's problems. So it can be hard when it comes to energy and trying to balance, you know, what it is that you are genuinely capable of doing. But I keep in mind, you know, it's not personal if there was a bunch of traffic and certain meal times are thrown off or something like that. It's like those things are easy to internalize because we have the context of like, but these are where my goals are, that's fine, but life is just life. Life doesn't give a fuck. Life literally doesn't stop just because you're doing something else. I think it's easy to kind of assume that like when I'm having a day where I'm feeling really tired, like, okay, everyone must know that like I'm feeling really tired right now, so I hope I don't get asked to like do anything. And it's like, no, you're still a person outside of a challenge. You're still a person outside of prep. Like that's just one little facet in your whole life. It's been important for me to really maintain living my life and not just isolate and stop everything because I'm going through a hard time. It might be easier to do that because it requires a little bit less energy, but it's not fair to the other people who did not sign up for my prep, right? This is my experience. This is something that is helping me embrace life and enjoy life, so I need to embrace and enjoy life by keeping everything else in check as well, and to not sort of selfishly view your time and your day just assuming that other people are always, you know, taking into consideration what your energy is or when your meal times are or when you train or things like that. Those are things that you have to voice and you have to have, I don't want to say boundaries, but like you have to prioritize on yourself. Don't expect other people or expect life to prioritize for you. You have to do the work. Nobody's coming to save you. No one's coming to help you get your shit done. You have to be the person that steps up to the plate and still is a functioning human being alongside this other process. They can coexist together. Prep can very easily serve as a excuse, if you will, to justify things like not pouring into your relationships, isolating, not going out to dinners and stuff like that. Even tonight for dinner, my family, we're all going out to Texas Roadhouse. I'm not gonna sit there and say, I'm in prep, I can't go. I can go. I'm just gonna bring my food with me. Giving myself the positive momentum of maintaining all my other variables alongside prep, I think makes prep easier because life is easier when you're pouring into relationships and when you're feeling fulfilled outside of that. Because yes, prep fulfills me also, but it's coexisting with other facets, if that makes sense. So I don't view everyday things of like going out to dinner, dog sitting for somebody as like, how dare they ask me, I'm in prep. Girl, it's not that deep. Like you are so important, you are so loved, but you're also not that important to other people to where they're always taking into account what your schedule is and what you're going through. Very selfish way of viewing the world. And so to stick up for yourself, to advocate for yourself, and to trust that you can make the decisions that you need to make with whatever is going on, I think is really important. Still make time for other people, still make time for the things that do also matter, like your career and taking care of yourself and your free time and leisure time as well. My main point there being that prep is a very selfish sport. You have your days very specifically laid out. So in times when it might not be my preference, I take that as an opportunity to dive into other people. So an example, my dad and I are about to go to Chick-fil-A because it's like his lunch run time and get my car cleaned. I'm not concerned with the fact that I will be sitting and not getting anything at Chick-fil-A because that's just not something that's going to align with what prep entails for me right now. And that's okay because the point of going and spending time with him is nothing about eating the same exact thing at the same time. It's about spending time together. And so these opportunities, even if it's not my preference, even if, hey, this takes me a little bit out of my routine today and, you know, I really wanted to use this time to go and practice posing or lay down for a little bit. I really try to capitalize off of these opportunities with other people to remind myself, hey, it's not just about me. Life is not centered around, as much as like it is my world and we're just living in it, it's other people's worlds too. I also don't want my prep to make it isolating for other people, where something that we could do together, I say no to because of my own goal. That's not fair to those people. I think it's important to have that altruistic mindset, is that the word that I'm thinking about, where it's very much thinking about other people, empathetic. Just because I'm going through something doesn't mean that other people have to suffer the byproducts of that, and we can still spend time together and still figure out ways to kind of make both ends meet. You can do both, you just have to choose to do both and understand that not everything has to be perfectly into your line, because you can trust yourself to get your shit done with whatever line you get. Something I experienced particularly with my posing is don't let passing thoughts be quick to label a whole experience. Like a great example was earlier this week where me and Mina just learned a lot of different movements, hand motions. I was getting real frustrated because I just couldn't seem in that moment to nail what we were doing, and we were having to kind of go backwards and slow things down, kind of repeat some sessions that I felt like I'd really nailed already, but we had to kind of go backwards just to make sure that I was able to get the basics as we're adding hand motions and, you know, little personality things, whatever. In those moments, it's very easy for me to assume, oh my God, I just can't pose. Like this whole thing is just ruined and I cannot be somebody who poses well. But those are just passing thoughts, and I can recognize now that I have the perspective. I was just feeling frustrated with it because I was learning something new. Can I get 30 grams? I am using the caramel coconut fudge cookie by Eric Roberts Fitness. This flavor is so good, and I was like a thin mint girl, but this is making me want to Samoa. It's very coconutty in such a good way. I'm making my little cream of rice right now. But those thoughts can integrate into anything where you're taking a present moment for what it is and assuming that the whole thing is bad. I'm not gonna let just one current moment categorize the whole thing as like, this is just not for me. It's not for you right now. But that's okay. You're gonna learn, and with practice, you get better at it. And that's with everything. You get better with practice. So I remind myself whenever I have very potent thoughts about my capabilities in something, it doesn't need to bleed into how I see the whole entire thing of like, well, I just can't do prep. Or I just can't do bodybuilding. I can't do posing, period. No, you're just learning right now, or you're going through something hard right now. But that doesn't mean that the whole entire thing is not for you. I've found that situation to be the most prevalent when I'm feeling particularly frustrated with something, but I like to view frustration as a positive emotion because I know that deep down I am capable of it. I'm just not capable in that moment. There's some kind of blockage between me and where I know I can be. That doesn't mean the whole thing is ruined. It's just I know that I am capable of it, and I just know that I need to practice a little bit more. Especially when you're learning or doing something for the first time, give yourself some damn grace if it starts to get a little bit uncomfortable. My first week in meal plan was really hard, and I remember thinking like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can be somebody who can follow through with a meal plan. But what I was not taking into account is this was my first time eating on a meal plan. I had never done that before, and I'd never done something that wasn't macros prior. So of course it's going to take some adjusting into that, or getting into my routine. It's going to give a period where I need to get adapted to that. My first day without my peach drink that I had mentioned, it sucked because I'm learning and adapting, not because I'm not capable of overcoming that. There's a really cool lightning storm happening right now. Holy crap, it's so humid. My curls are about to double in size, but we have it clipped back. Look at the fog, guys. I'm like in a retro film right now. That's how humid it is. We might have to clean this like all the time. I hope it doesn't continue to do that. You know how people say like, oh, if you go to Miami together, like your bond is bonded or whatever. I think that if you can go through prep with somebody, that really shows you who your circle is. And I think there is a stigma that it can be very isolating, or that it'll like show who your true friends are. But I think prep has actually also helped me as a person in my relationships. I thought this was gonna be like fun aesthetic. This might genuinely be too loud. In voicing my needs and my concerns and just being a better partner. I saw a quote a while ago that was like, being with a partner who can struggle well, who can suffer well. Now, I'm not gonna say that prep is suffering, because suffering is a choice, but somebody who can endure a stressful situation and still, I think you learn a lot about somebody when they are really stressed. And so it's been very educational for me in a relationship, and even in my family too, to make sure that I am still pulling my weight in that way. Not that it has to be like 50-50. I think it should be 100-100 where you can, but you learn a lot about somebody when they are very overwhelmed and how they choose to manage their stress and deal and cope with their emotions. And it's helped me learn a lot about myself, but then also I think it's given this very unique space for my relationships to be able to get this version of me that I can really work through and learn with them. It's made Nick and I's relationship so much stronger because being in such circumstances forces you to really voice your needs. He has shown up for me in this prep in ways that I cannot even articulate. The way that he treated Alaska, something that's not even his responsibility, like it really does show you who is meant for you and who supports and cares for you and who wants to make a already hard process as easy as they can. It's been really encouraging and full circle to know like, hey, I have such a solid support system, because even during something where my schedule is really crazy and quality time becomes much more calculated, just because you kind of have to really figure out, to have somebody who is so willing to make it work in a hard time, it's really validating. It makes me a better partner because I'm much more attentive to making sure that I am doing what I need to do and pouring into my relationships as well. Because any relationship can be fun and roses and amazing when you guys are both having a great time, but it's about who can you struggle with who helps you struggle through things and get through to the other side. And it's made me feel so much more secure about who is in my life, because I know that even when variables are not to their preference, they can still see it through and they can still support me. And it's just like, it's been such a loving and exciting journey to know that I have people in my circle. I feel like the clouds are like circling, like tornado coated. I don't know if I'm making that up. When I was little, that was my biggest fear ever, was a tornado, and I have never experienced one like for real, but these clouds are moving and I'm getting a little bit antsy. But I also read somewhere, I think, that the sky goes green, which is like, I'm like, tie-dye. And the most important, if not for anything ever, is that perspective is absolutely everything. Prep is such a privilege that I'm able to take my body through such drastic situations, to be in a situation. We might lose a tree, and I really hope we don't. I hope everyone is safe right now. Oh my gosh. I think about the animals in the SPCA commercials. I hope they're okay. Such a privilege to be able to go through such extremes, to have the resources that I do, to be able to do a prep like experience, to have an able body to carry me into this prep, to have such a support system and just have access to these variables so abundantly to be able to manipulate them. Such a blessing. This is a challenge of my choosing. Nobody is forcing me to do prep. It is a hard that I want to do. I want to push myself. It's supposed to be hard. So those moments where it feels like, how the fuck am I going to get through this? I remind myself that's the whole point of this. It's about pushing yourself to the limit. It's about growing and learning and admitting that, oh my gosh, this feels nearly impossible, and doing it anyways. Like, it's that reframe of really viewing anything that challenges you as something that is serving you. Because I remember even growing up in church preaching, okay, if you're going to pray for patience, you're going to be handed situations where you're going to have to wait. I want to become a resilient and disciplined person and continue to grow in my journey with myself. I must be dealt cards that challenge that of me. It could always be worse. There are people in worse situations that are still making it work, and this is giving me an opportunity to prove myself wrong. Stepping on stage is a luxury, you know, to be able to have the gas in the car to go to and from a gym when I get to choose to manipulate my variables, to reduce carbs. Like, yeah, it's easy to immediately complain about, oh my gosh, my cardio has to be so high or whatever it is, but it's like, it gets to be that high. I get to perform that much. I get to change things around and look at it scientifically and see how my body can do and really push myself and learn and grow. Like, this whole thing is such a cool opportunity. And how privileged am I that my hardest thing that I did today was getting through the Stairmaster, and not something like grieving a loved one or going to the hospital for some horrible reason. Other crap that is going on in the world right now, it's very prevalent. It's like, for my hard things to be centered around mental discomfort, being tired, I feel so blessed to even just have the opportunity to live the life that I do. I am so lucky for this opportunity, and I never take it for granted. And it's been already, I have a good chunk to go, but I really want to enjoy it. Life is to be enjoyed, and I want to be a very goal-oriented, very disciplined person. And so stage is something that's helping me accomplish that, and it's an asset to who I am. It's a step in this bigger picture. It's not just about the medals or any of that. I don't even care about any of that. I just am excited to even try something new. It's so rare that you do something hard for the first time. Having this be my first prep, I really just want to enjoy it, learn, and let it be hard, and let it fucking suck, and worry how I'm gonna do it, and question myself and doubt, and force myself to navigate through such turmoil. And that's such a cool thing to have control over, where it's like, you know, you're gonna be really pushed to the limit, and knowing that you're able to execute, having my own back in that way. I'm just really grateful for the whole thing. I posted my whole podcast episode on this, but it's very easy to fall into a victim mindset where it's like, oh my gosh, my food's getting lowered, and everything's happening to me. And it's like, how is this happening for you? What is this teaching you? How are you forcing yourself to adapt and to learn? And when I think about all of the ways that this is adding to my life, adding so much positive evidence to who I am as a person, it makes me feel really fucking excited about it. That was my video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed something new. I haven't been having the best week mentally, and so that's okay. We're probably gonna hit a new low tomorrow. So we're good. Sometimes in my vlogs I feel like, okay, do I have enough going on? And honestly, I'm kind of at the point in prep where it really just comes down to like getting through each day. I'm not in a position right now where I want to like overload my day just to like have it be interesting for the vlog. I didn't really feel like the vibe, and that's not really authentic to me anyways. Sometimes I don't feel like I had that much to talk about. I'm doing this, I'm at the gym twice a day, I'm eating my meals 5 times a day, and then I'm doing my client work and sleeping. That is my vlog. Like, hey, I'm curious what you guys thought of today's video, and I will see you in next week's video. Go get big.